Hey everybody, we're gonna head down the street and check on my minnow trap. It's a little chilly out today and I don't know if we've got some storms coming in, but the sky's getting a little overcast, so I thought now would be as good a time as any to go do it. So give me half a second here. I live right on a sort of deceptive curve, and cars always come around this corner way faster than they should be, so backing out of the driveway is always a little precarious. So I was sitting there looking at my native tank, and I was enjoying the Creek Chubs, and I was thinking about how the one is quickly becoming one of my largest fish. And the more I got to looking at it, the more familiar it began to look to me. It stopped looking like the little brown minnows I see in the stream all the time, and it began to look more like the fish I occasionally catch but never knew what they were. Come on, squirrel, run. Sheesh. And so I began to realize, like, I've probably been catching these creek chubs in larger streams or small rivers, however you want to look at that, most of my life, and I've just never realized it's the same fish as these little minnows I see in the streams. Now, of course, a lot of those little minnows are also those Neotropis species or whatever that people are often referring to as the black-nosed dace. But a lot of those minnows are just little creek chubs, and I just never knew that those little ones were the same as those big ones I catch in larger creeks like George's Creek. Now, this driveway we're using to turn around here is actually the driveway of the guy who owns the property we're going to be on, so I just got to get turned around here and park here on the corner, and give me a second and I'll see you out in the stream. All right, so the other thing I was thinking about these creek chubs as I was looking at them is they look remarkably like another fish that I have always called a fall fish. I don't know if that's their real name or not, but it's a fish that looks very much like the creek chub, except it's got bony protuberances on its forehead, little sort of spiky nubs. But otherwise, it looks very much like these creek chubs. There's a bunch of little fish right there. Water's nice and clear today. When I came down here Friday afternoon, it had been raining in the morning. And so the water was a little elevated and a little murky. And now it's Sunday, so it's been a day and a half since we put the trap out. I hope you can hear me over all this wind. We're walking straight into it. Although, you know what, while we're here today, I've got my waders on rather than my socks. So maybe we can get a little further out into the water. I only brought one net though. I wasn't planning on making a trip out of this. I can hear something rustling around in the brush over there. It's probably a deer. I'm sure I've already chased them all upstream. Yeah, I can see a bunch of them right there. They're all lingering around up underneath these roots. And all I'm really seeing is those little Neotropis species I was just talking about. There might be a few creek chubs mixed in. But now that they're getting a little more comfortable, I can see quite a few of them. I can hear something over there through that brush. I don't know what it is though. So I'm not going to mess with trying to catch them. They're too far away, too deep out in the water. Let's go up and around today. I don't want to poke any holes in my waders. I don't see anything. It sounds too big to be birds or squirrels or anything like that. Alright, let's go see what we've got. Got something. I can see flashes. All right, now let's sort through them because don't want any more creek chubs. All I'm really hoping to catch is some of those Rosyside Dace, and it doesn't look like I see any of them. Maybe they don't like raisin bread. That's what I was using for bait. But all I have in here is Creek Chubs. This is kind of frustrating. I was thinking I'd at least catch some of those Rosyside Dace. Not a one. Nope. Every single one of those was a creek chub. That's hard to believe. Alright, let's try to net some of them then. This never works. They hide under here and it's just impossible to get under there and net them. Relax for a minute and just kind of hang out here for a moment or two. They'll drift back out. But the stream, you can see the water goes all the way over to there, so this whole mass is just completely open underneath. And you know, some idiot like me standing here waving my arms around like this, they're not really going to come out and be easy to catch. So, as I say every time I come here, it's a waste of time even trying to do this. I don't know why I try. But there's a little minnow that came out to say hello. Looks like he's going to swim right into the net. Oh, there's another one. These are more of those Nitropus or whatever they are. So, alright, let's stop wasting our time here. Looks like it was inside of a bag or something, like it's concrete. It's weird. Didn't really see the water flowing in there today. You'd think there'd be something under there worth taking a swipe at, but I don't see anything. Love the root structure on this tree. That's awesome. Alright, as I've said before, I'm not quite sure where the property line is, but I don't really want to go any further upstream. For one, there's no real deep holes until we get all the way up there, and by then I'm sure we're on somebody else's property. So let's head on back. Go ahead and take this with us. The weather is supposed to warm up. It's only supposed to be about 50 degrees today, but by the end of the week we're supposed to be up about 90. So apparently we're going to have a very, very short spring. It's going to be a few days long, then we're going to be into summer weather, so we can bring the trap back out here in a few days and set it back up when the weather's a little warmer. Alright, I think I'm ready. So we can pop into the other side of the road, on the other side of the tunnel for a moment. Since I got my waders on, we can walk out in a little deeper water. Plus it's clear. So maybe we'll get a chance to see some crayfish, some hoof prints from deer. Yeah, I see there's little fish all over the place, but today's not the day to spend a bunch of time trying to catch them. I never did look at the temperature on the truck on the way down here. I doubt it's 50 degrees yet. You know what, we could probably throw the trap out while we're over here, and while we might not catch any of those Rosyside Dace, we might be able to come back tomorrow and find some crayfish in it. So let's at least start by doing that. And I'm happy to say I got out on the kayak for about 20 minutes yesterday afternoon. My stickers have showed up. So when the weather gets nice, look forward to some kayak videos, because I've been itching to get out of the house and get out there. The more I pull on this, the worse the knot gets. we can walk down there. Alright, but the water is clear as it is today. We're bound to catch some kind of small crayfish or one of those little sculpins or something. So let's see what we can find. If you use these little fray bill nets to do what I'm doing, you will very quickly destroy the netting and it will just hang off of here. You can see I've got stitched up. So if you've got one of these and all that netting has been destroyed, what I use is braided fishing line, and just get a thick needle and use you know, just basically stitch it back on there with braided fishing line. It's absolutely as tough as nails. So once you do that, it'll be stronger than it was when you bought it, and it will allow you to quite easily use it to poke around and grub around and try to scare up some crayfish. There goes one. Just went under this little rock. There he is. That tiny little thing. Where's he gonna go? You let the water clear out a little bit. Not sure where he went. All right, let's move over here into a little bit of deeper water. Problem is we're in sort of the eddy, and the water is all the stuff I'm kicking up swirls back into where I'm walking, and it makes it difficult. And I don't know what it looks like on camera, but I've got polarized glasses on, which I always refer to as my magic glasses, because if you've ever used them around water, you know they work. And if you haven't, and if you're one of those people that think polarized sunglasses is a gimmick, you know, for fishermen to be able to see into the water and that sort of stuff, it's no gimmick, trust me. There, is that him? Can't tell if that's him or not. It's not. It was a little piece of stick that looked like a crayfish. All right. I seldom have any luck over here. It's just so rocky, it's hard to see them. But I'm trying to just move away from that area for a little bit to let the dust settle. And there's a little humpback of sand right here. Otherwise we'd be about waist deep if we were right there or right there. But I'm okay right where I am. And I don't see much swimming around in there either. Alright. And likewise, I never really have any luck looking for crayfish when I go down this way either. Although it's worth a try to come over here, I guess. don't want to go home empty-handed. But it looks like I'm probably going to. Alright, let's try one last look through here. I still think it's just early in the year, even though by the calendar it's not early in the year, just by temperature. It's just it's not going to warm up. I mean obviously it is. Like I said, by Friday we're supposed to be 88 degrees, so it's going to warm up. It just hasn't yet. Oh, there it is again. I'm sure that's him. What is that I'm seeing down there that looks so much like a crayfish? Oh, it's a crayfish. There he goes. He was just hiding. Come on, seriously. And all that, I didn't scoop him up. Apparently not. There he is again. See him right there next to this piece of wood. There we go. He's so sluggish. Yay. We caught one. And like any fishing scenario, no matter how ready to go home you are, as soon as you catch one, you're ready to stay again. So we'll see if we can't see another easy to catch one. Oh, there's a tiny one. Wow. Let's try to catch him. It'll be interesting to see if that one even makes it to the bottom of the tank when I pour them in. I might have to feed at one end of the tank and get everybody distracted so I can drop that one in, or maybe pour it down. That's what I'll do. I'll pour it down through a PVC pipe and get it to the bottom that way. Another little tiny one. Alright everybody, there's our massive haul for the day. And like I said before, whatever I don't eat I can freeze, right? Alright everybody, I'll see you back at the house. Alright everybody, here we are. Now I'm going to throw a handful of cichlid pellets over here in the center. Go ahead and get them over here and tractor to them. Once they are busy doing that, I realized on the drive home that I don't have to do anything fancy with these crayfish. I can simply put them in the tank and release them. So that was the largest of them. Now we'll go with the little medium-sized one if I can get a hold of him here. And last but not least, we've got this little guy, so let me try to get a hold of him properly so we can see him as we put him in the tank. Look how tiny he is. Alright, so hopefully we can still see him right there on camera. Give me half a moment. Get my arm dried off. And I'm going to pull the camera out of the tripod, so bear with me for a moment. And there's our little tiny one. The other one, or one of the other ones, is in the back right there. It'll be interesting to see how long that tiny one lasts, because I can imagine those Creek Chubs are going to find that one to be just a snack. It's just a matter of when they spot it. This tank always is so much more fun when there's crayfish in here. Crayfish are just such interesting little animals. There's definitely drawbacks to having them. I've said it before, you know, they'll occasionally catch fish and kill fish. And they definitely dig and uproot plants, and they just devour vegetation, so it's hard to have a planted tank if you're going to have crayfish in it. But they're just such interesting animals that, to me, all of those drawbacks just pale in comparison to the benefits and the sheer pleasure of having crayfish in your tank, especially if it's going to be a, you know, pseudo native tank like this. I've already lost sight of the little tiny one. Busy watching this one. Oh, there he is. See, the upshot for being such a tiny little crayfish is it can hide pretty much anywhere. If this one doesn't want to be seen by anybody, it won't be. The downside, of course, is it's so tiny, if it is seen by anybody, it's probably not going to survive very long. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Again, that's a tiny little crayfish in a pretty big tank. Alright everybody, there he goes. So thanks for watching. Make sure you're subscribed. You don't want to miss any of the updates I got coming up. Pretty soon this tank's going to get a lot more interesting. And don't forget, this one is my 125 gallon native tank. So thanks for watching, and I will see you real soon on the next one.